Hi, everybody. I am Kristin, and thanks for joining us for the webinar today on how Dreamforce impacts Salesforce data security. There's been a lot of hype around Dreamforce this year, so it was quite a task to pick just 5 key announcements. But we've picked 5 announcements I want to talk to you about today and how we should think about these things from a security perspective. So again, this is me. Hi, I'm Kristin Baskett, product manager for ARM here at AutoRABIT. And for those of you not super familiar with AutoRABIT, ARM is our CI/CD solution, which is part of our overall kind of DevSecOps platform offering. So that's me. And let's talk now about what these 5 key announcements are. So the big, huge news at Dreamforce this year is AI. It was AI everywhere. Specifically, the launch of Agentforce, which is both the rebranding and the next generation of what used to be known as Einstein GPT. So last year at Dreamforce, we saw Einstein GPT being like this co-pilot type of AI technology. This year, it's much more autonomous in its decision-making and the actions that it can take. So that was like the overall big exciting news. We're also going to talk about the Atlas AI engine, which powers Agentforce, some of the enhancements for Data Cloud, what Salesforce is offering for certifications, and some new partnership news with Google and IBM. So that's what we're thinking about today. All right, so first off is, excuse me, one too many slides. Apologies for the lag in presentation there. So first off, before we jump in, I wanted to talk about this message that we saw everywhere, which was don't DIY your AI. The message was bet on Salesforce, and we think that this is like a pretty founded statement because customizing these models, training this AI, integrating all these systems, recruiting highly skilled AI engineers, dealing with the ongoing maintenance, and of this kind of grow your own AI strategy is very risky, and it's also very costly. But while the benefits of betting on Salesforce for this are pretty clear, we also need to address the security implications that come with AI, even AI that's pioneered by Salesforce. So with AI systems like Agentforce handling huge, large volumes of sensitive customer data, you need to be really, really cautious about data privacy. Misconfigured AI, lack of proper governance, or malicious attacks could lead to huge data breaches or compliance violations. So you need to be really, really sure that you have strong security protocols in place and you're continuously monitoring AI-driven decisions. Adopting AI doesn't just mean embracing the power of AI, but it also means understanding and mitigating the risks that come with it. So as you're looking at jumping in and taking advantage of all of these new and exciting announcements and what Salesforce has to offer for AI, just make very sure that you have this proactive security mindset to protect both your business and your customers. So that's some of what we're going to be sharing today. All right, so to our first announcement, Agentforce. Let's break down Salesforce Agentforce from a technology perspective. So Agentforce is designed to deploy autonomous AI agents that perform tasks like customer service, sales, and marketing without really needing that constant human intervention to do their jobs. And these agents aren't just simple automations, they are built to make real-time data-driven decisions. And one of the things that sets Agentforce apart is the AI architecture. So this platform is tapping into Salesforce Data Cloud, which processes massive amounts of structured and unstructured data. And this means that the AI agents are always operating with the latest, hopefully most accurate data. And this enables them to do complex, context-sensitive things like responding to customer inquiries or automating workflows without lag. The decision-making capabilities of these agents are powered by machine learning models, which are continuously refining their outputs based on data trends and real-time inputs. So this is an important point here. It's not just humans training the AI with prompts. The AI is actually training itself on positive or negative business outcomes that it is seeing. Another technical highlight here is the integration capability. So Agentforce, it's seamlessly integrated into your existing environments. So not only is it available across, the whole customer 360 and all the Salesforce clouds, with the new Google partnership that we're going to talk about in a minute, it's also integrating with things like Google Workspace, which is going to allow this AI to automate things like document generation, email workflows, and a whole lot more. So this integration with third-party tools is expanding the utility of Agentforce, within Salesforce and beyond, making it very adaptable to a variety of operational frameworks. This is particularly exciting to me because the Google Suite integration that existed before, it appears to have been sitting on the shelf for several years, sort of gathering dust. It's still actually like configured in Classic. So this is a very welcome addition, and I think going to be super powerful. So in essence, Agentforce, the strength lies in the ability to handle high frequency, data sensitive tasks across the Salesforce clouds while remaining scalable and customizable. So next, we're going to talk about the AI engine behind Agentforce. This is our second announcement, the Atlas AI engine. So let's break down why Atlas is such a big deal. So first off, Atlas isn't just another AI tool making basic decisions. It's processing huge amounts of data in real time. And we're talking data from Salesforce Data Cloud, as we mentioned, and other integrated systems so that the AI agents it powers can take instant informed actions. You can sort of think of it as like the smart brain that is consistently adapting to the latest information, making sure that your agents are staying ahead of the curve when handling customer interactions or automating workflows. One of the coolest features, I think, of Atlas is how it handles both structured and unstructured data. So it's taking everything from sales numbers to customer emails and even now video files and pulling all that data from across your entire business and making sure that all of the decisions that this AI is making are based on this wider, complete picture. So that's what makes it so useful for automating these complex tasks across different departments, across different clouds, because whether it's, responding to a customer query or managing marketing campaigns or pushing sales leads forward, it has this full context. And then last point I wanted to touch on here is the sort of the intelligent automation. So it doesn't just do tasks in order. It's not just serial. It has figured out which tasks need to be prioritized, and it's adapting based on that data. So if something were to change, like say, it's Black Friday and you have a huge spike in customer service requests, Atlas is automatically able to shift gears and manage that new workload. And it's self-learning. So it's continually getting better by analyzing its own past actions and learning what worked and what didn't work, and improving the model to handle those tasks going forward, which is really neat. All right, now let's talk about number 3 on our list, which was Data Cloud enhancements, or Agent Builder, which was Agent Builder. So Agent Builder from Salesforce is a powerful development tool designed to simplify the creation of these virtual agents. So there's, we covered a little bit what the outcome of a virtual agent was. This is focusing more on how do I create a virtual agent in Agentforce? And you create those agents with Agent Builder. And kind of true to form for Salesforce, this is a no-code approach, which is allowing users to build two things into these agents, a set of instructions and a set of actions. So your instructions are sort of like the prompts that you maybe are used to putting in ChatGPT, but the actions are the then part of the if-then statement, then do this thing. And those are done, the actions are carried out with all the familiar Salesforce technologies that you already know. So it's using flows, it's using Apex, it's using prompt templates. And it does all of this without relying on complex dialogue trees. And so this is where the no code part comes in. You don't have to be an AI data scientist in order to do this. So it makes it much, much easier for admins and developers to design this dynamic conversational experience without needing super deep knowledge of how AI works. So that's the first part. And then there's the reasoning engine, which is another standout feature that I wanted to talk about, which takes all of these instructions and actions and provides the reasoning behind what the agent is generating as a response. So you can kind of, in the screenshot here, you can see the conversation preview is like the output of what this agent is generating. But on the left-hand side of the screen, the developer, the admin would see how the reasoning engine has come to the conclusion and generated that response, which is pretty slick. And then finally, the testing center. So in Agent Builder, obviously you're leveraging a large language model to automatically generate these utterances, which are then used to test how the agent would handle a real world conversation. And Salesforce is automatically generating these, which is super cool. So you don't have to, sit there and think about what are all of the different permutations of questions a customer might ask. Salesforce is going to help you build those utterances automatically and create tests using those utterances. So this ensures accuracy, robustness. It helps teams to fine-tune the agent before it goes live. So there's some degree of testing that can happen, before this goes out into the universe. And it really streamlines the virtual agent creation process by empowering these teams to deploy intelligent, responsive agents faster, but also be much more confident that they're going to work as intended. All right, now on to Data Cloud enhancements. So Salesforce's Data Cloud has introduced significant technical improvements this year to enhance data processing and integration. So first, it now supports more unstructured data formats. And this is exciting because it's now including things like video and audio and images. So this is going to allow you to analyze these previously underutilized data sources. I mean, how many Teams meetings do you have where like all this great information is sort of hidden in that video recording? So now you have all of this information from your video meetings, from your customer service calls, which are crucial given that 90%, like huge, vast majority of enterprise data is unstructured. So now Data Cloud is able to handle that kind of data. Additionally, they're coming out with more than 50 new pre-built connectors. So this integration of diverse data systems into the Salesforce ecosystem is now streamlined, reducing the need for custom development work. And this is going to simplify data ingestion from like 50 plus multiple sources. And this is going to help Salesforce use all this ingested data in analytics and for their AI tools more efficiently. And then finally, Data Cloud is now sub-second processing. So like as close to real time as you can get, which is essential for use cases like dynamic pricing or customer service responses or supply chain adjustments. So these technical advancements are ensuring faster insights, more agile insights, and more data-driven decision making. So really cool enhancements coming out for Data Cloud. Also in Data Cloud, and I felt like this was just like a little bit buried in the keynotes for Dreamforce if you watched those, but this is really, really cool. So for Data Cloud, they are introducing this concept of RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. And how this works is it enhances a large language model prompt by pulling in context-specific data from your own company's proprietary data sets. So a little bit of how this works. So the first step is data retrieval. So RAG will pull structured and unstructured data, anything from emails, meeting notes, knowledge articles, videos, from your own knowledge base, and then it will help the LLMs access that data in real time. So that you've got this relevant business data that you wouldn't normally have access to, feeding the model. Next step is the prompt augmentation. So once you've retrieved all the correct information, it's combined with an LLM prompt, which grounds the AI response to be more accurate and have more context richness to it. So this means that the AI generated responses that you're getting from your LLM become far more tailored and far more precise. So this is, important if you're answering customer queries or, generating internal policy suggestions. This context richness becomes really differentiating. And finally here on this RAG topic is customization and search optimization. Salesforce Data Cloud uses something called vector and hybrid search methods to retrieve and index data. And with Prompt Builder, users can fine-tune the retrievers to focus on just the most relevant content, ensuring that the AI response that's delivered is, accurate and relevant to the context of the query. So this I felt like it's a little nerdy, it's a little in the weeds, which is maybe why it wasn't talked about more, but I think this is so cool. All right. So that concludes kind of the product announcements that I wanted to cover. And the last two, 4 and 5, are not product specific, but I think equally as important. Next up here is the free AI certifications. So Salesforce made a big announcement at Dreamforce about free AI training and certifications as part of its AI for All initiative. And they're offering premium instructor-led AI courses and certifications on Trailhead, which I'm super excited about. And they are no cost through the end of 2025. So I will be signing up. I hope you will be signing up too. It's a really great opportunity to upskill, and it's part of Salesforce's broader effort to close this AI skills gap by making this education accessible to everybody. So whether you are an AI professional or you're looking to get started, you're a beginner and you're doing this for the first time, this would be a great place to begin understanding what Salesforce has to offer for AI. They're also planning to do pop-up AI training centers. Unfortunately, where I live in Salt Lake City, I didn't see that on the list, but they have these coming in San Francisco, Tokyo, Chicago, Sydney, and some of the other larger cities. So these centers will provide in-person AI training. I kind of think about it like like the Genius Bar at Apple. That's going to be like the Genius Bar for Salesforce AI. So this is really exciting. But I do want to mention too that it is sort of a very marketing savvy nod to though this is a no code approach to AI, like you're going to need some training. You're going to need to do some level of upskilling to really take advantage of it. So, holding those two things, like it's no code, but also you're going to need some training to understand what you're doing at the same time. All right. And then last of our big product updates is the Google IBM partnership. So here we go with number 5. Salesforce has shared some exciting news about partnerships with Google and IBM. And these partnerships are specifically aimed at boosting the power of Agentforce. So with Google, Agentforce is now able to automate tasks inside Google Workspace. So creating Google Docs, managing Gmail workflows, triggering Google Calendar events. And this means that businesses can bring this AI automation to their day-to-day tasks without needing specialized technical skills, and also, using the tools that they're already working in every day. So that's kind of the gist of the Google partnership. On the IBM side, Salesforce is working to build industry-specific AI agents for sectors like banking, telco, and these agents are focused on streamlining complex processes like loan approvals or compliance checks. This partnership is all about making Agentforce more versatile and helping automate these very complex tasks while freeing up time for more strategic work. So those are the 2 notable partnership announcements that Salesforce made here at Dreamforce. Okay, so we've covered what came out, why it's really exciting, but now I get to the scary part, like the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What are the risks? Because there are inherent risks with AI. And we've broken these down into a couple of categories. So the first category of risk that we're looking at when leveraging AI in Salesforce is that AI systems rely on processing vast amounts of sensitive customer and business data. So this can raise concerns about potential mishandling or exposure of personal and financial information. Misconfigurations or breaches could lead to violations of regulations like GDPR, which nobody wants to do. And these things, if these violations occur, can result in substantial legal penalties and reputational damage. Many AI systems also process data across different clouds and jurisdictions. So this further complicates the compliance and security issues. Second one is AI bias. And this is another significant challenge. So Agentforce is making decisions based on historical data. And this data may contain inherent biases. For example, if you are, we'll take one of the previous ones I mentioned, automating loan approvals. And you've trained your agent based on this historical data, it could unintentionally favor certain demographics, leading to unfair outcomes. So this risk is particularly pronounced in sectors like banking and sectors like healthcare, where biased data could skew treatment recommendations, leading to disparities in care. So we need to be quite careful with the human oversight when it comes to AI bias, and regular audits to identify this bias are really, really important to ensuring that you are having fair practices. Next is integration vulnerabilities. This does represent a major area of concern. So as we mentioned with Google, Salesforce is integrating with third-party systems like Google Workspaces, Slack, all of the different clouds within Salesforce. And each of these integrations increases the potential attack surface. So making sensitive Salesforce data more vulnerable through these integrations. So if an external system has weaker security protocols or outdated patches, it could provide a gateway for attackers to access your Salesforce data. And this risk is amplified by the addition of this 50 plus new pre-built connectors that we talked about in Data Cloud, each of which serves as a potential entry point for these cyber threats. So securing these integration points is really, really critical. All right, on to our next three risks we wanted to talk about. So the shift to real-time data processing also introduces some new challenges. So as data flows rapidly through these systems, we talked about the sub-second processing that's now happening in Data Cloud, it becomes more difficult to inspect that content for malicious stuff. So attackers could exploit this speed to inject corrupted data that bypasses your traditional security measures. And in industries like financial services, fraudulent transactions may be processed instantly, leaving minimal time for detection and mitigation. So that's one big concern. There's also concern around unstructured data. So again, back to Data Cloud, where we had announced that we are now supporting these unstructured data types like video, audio, images. And these things pose another unique risk because unlike structured data, these formats are far more difficult to scan and encrypt, which means that they can conceal hidden threats like embedded malware. For instance, a bad actor could hide malware in an audio file, which would bypass this conventional security measures that you have in place. And also, this unstructured data often contains sensitive metadata, such as personal information, like if it's an internal meeting or confidential customer discussions. And these things could be inadvertently exposed. And leaks of this nature could result in serious legal or reputational damage to the business. So what do we do about this? That's the million-dollar question, right? How do you mitigate these risks? You need to think holistically, and this includes implementing strong encryption, conducting regular audits to minimize the bias in AI systems, securing your integrations with third-party platforms, maintaining this real-time data synchronization to ensure accuracy, and advanced monitoring. You should be monitoring everything to protect this unstructured data, while third-party systems also need to be vetted before integration. So real-time threat detection tools are very, very critical to match this pace of modern data processing, which is getting faster and faster all the time. And then the last point I wanted to talk about was the autonomy of AI agents. As we're giving these AI agents more responsibility and more access to not just recommend, but carry out actions autonomously, sometimes that leads to errors. And when it does, those errors are really, really hard to track and correct. So, an example, an AI agent may escalate a minor issue unnecessarily or fail to escalate a critical issue. And since these agents are acting independently, pinpointing the root cause of this misassignment or this error can be really challenging because it's not a human that did it. So for this reason, it's really, really important to have strong human oversight and rigorous testing in place to prevent these issues from getting out of control. All right. So those are the big risks that we've seen. And so considering all these risks, it's a good time to remind everyone of Salesforce's shared security model, shared responsibility model in regards to security. So Salesforce provides a very powerful platform, a platform that we all love with built-in security measures. But the responsibility for protecting data and ensuring the ethical use of AI is shared between Salesforce and all the businesses using it. So Salesforce is going to ensure the infrastructure, like servers and storage, is secure. And they're going to offer tools for compliance with regulations like GDPR and CCPA. However, you, me and you, everyone who uses Salesforce is responsible for how we configure these tools, how we manage data access, how we oversee AI-driven decisions. So with AI, this shared responsibility becomes even more critical. Salesforce is providing us the technology, but the business has to ensure that the data that we're feeding these AI models is clean, it's compliant, it's unbiased, and the potential for bias and misuse or data mishandling is very significant. And it's up to us to regularly audit our systems and implement that human oversight. So ultimately, shared responsibility model means that while Salesforce provides a secure platform, and I would say like industry leading, probably one of the best secure low-code platforms out there, the onus is on us to configure it and monitor it and manage our AI solutions responsibly to ensure that our data privacy is on point, that compliance is happening, and that it's being ethically used. So that's the shared responsibility. That's the shared responsibility model. Okay. So we've talked through the 5 announcements. We've talked through the security implications. And so let's zoom out and look at these developments from a business perspective. And my favorite framework for looking at things from a higher level business perspective is this good old SWOT analysis. So first, let's start with strengths. What are the strengths of what Salesforce has come out with at Dreamforce this year? So big strength, Salesforce is positioning itself as a major player in the AI space with Agentforce. The current landscape has been dominated by OpenAI and by Microsoft, but Agentforce is now providing Salesforce with the ability to directly compete by leveraging its already established ecosystem. So what does this mean? It means that businesses that are already using Salesforce can seamlessly integrate AI into their existing CRM data, workflows, analytics without disrupting their current processes or having to do a lot of retooling. This integration advantage is huge. It's very significant, and it allows us to adopt an AI-driven approach without majorly overhauling our systems. So that is a huge, huge advantage. They've also cleverly positioned the sunk cost advantage here. So essentially, if you've already invested in the Salesforce ecosystem, and chances are, if you're on this webinar, that you're pretty heavily invested in the Salesforce ecosystem, there's no need to pursue a complicated DIY AI solution set. Instead, you can continue to build on what you already have with the assurance that your existing systems and data are fully compatible with all of the new AI capabilities that they've announced. And then finally, the investment angle. So Salesforce has put a lot of dollars behind AI. They had announced in one of the press releases leading up to Dreamforce that they've already invested $50 million. That's a huge price tag. $50 million recently funneled to further their AI development. And this makes it very, very clear that Salesforce is committed to not only keeping pace with these other AI vendors that were first to market, like OpenAI and Microsoft, but potentially surpassing them specifically for Salesforce use. So this investment is ensuring that Agentforce continues to evolve and continues to provide us with cutting-edge solutions that are going to meet our needs. So that's the strengths. So let's look at the weaknesses. And we've covered some of these already, but they do have a couple of challenges with Agentforce. So first, we need to acknowledge that it wasn't fully developed by Dreamforce 2024. There was quite a few roadmap slides with October, time frame for delivery on there. I expect that this is going to be much, much more robust by the time we get to TDX. But it does suggest that there may have been some delays in its rollout or even like potential issues with the deployment. So that's something to watch for, especially if your organization is eager to integrate it quickly. Just know that this is a first generation product. And so we need to have first generation expectations of what product is going to be able to do in, its first iteration. Another concern is around security, which we've talked about quite a bit. There's still a lot of confusion among companies about how to integrate AI without compromising data security. So with this AI system or any other AI system that you're using that deals with sensitive customer information, the stakes are very high. And if the business isn't clear and confident on how to protect that data, it could open the door to serious risks. And so it makes it a little riskier to adopt. Cost is also a big factor here. The AI features in Salesforce are typically packaged into the higher end plans, which means that they may be out of reach for businesses that have tighter budgets. So if you're an SMB and you're using Salesforce, this might be too expensive of an option for you. Smaller companies may struggle to justify that investment, especially if they're trying to dip their toes into AI for the first time. It might be an out of reach startup cost. And then there's the learning curve. And they did a good job addressing this weakness through the free training that they're offering through 2025. But just to realize that not every organization, maybe few organizations, have in-house AI experts that have deep AI knowledge that would feel real confident getting Agentforce configured and running optimally. And that might be a bit of a barrier as well. And then there's the platform lock-in that we look at. So Agentforce obviously deeply tied to the Salesforce infrastructure, which can make it difficult for companies to transition to other AI solutions that may come up down the road. And so once you're in, you're pretty much locked in with Salesforce. All right, on to opportunities. So I've been really positive on everything that I heard at Dreamforce. I was totally wowed by all of these demos. And so I feel like the opportunities are like huge and endless. The future is big and bright if it's done safely and securely. So first, workflow automation. Agentforce can significantly increase productivity by automating tasks that would normally require a lot of manual intervention. This automation has the potential to bring a lot of cost savings to businesses by reducing operational overhead, and in some cases, reducing the need for additional headcount by allowing these AI agents to handle routine tasks. But beyond cost savings, there's also a major opportunity for competitive advantage. Companies that are successfully integrating with Agentforce may be able to scale their support and operations much more efficiently than their competitors are able to do. So whether you're needing to do that scaling because it's a busy season, or you're needing to scale the other direction, like you're streamlining your sales processes, you're able to do these changes a lot more dynamically with fewer resources than perhaps companies who are not using something like Agentforce. And then there's the predictive aspect. So predictive analysis is another big benefit of Agentforce. It's going to allow you to identify future opportunities, optimize your operations, anticipate customer needs. And it's not just about reacting faster, it's actually about proactively driving growth and reducing cost. So Agentforce has, a big upside there where businesses can be a lot more agile in making these data-driven decisions very, very quickly. And the threats. So obviously there are some challenges and concerns that come along with adopting AI technologies like Agentforce. And one of the most discussed topics is the potential for AI-driven job reductions. And so if you're if you frequent Reddit, post Dreamforce Reddit is like a thing to behold. But one of the big things that I saw on Reddit post Dreamforce was like, well, there goes my job. So that's something that we need to consider. As AI takes over more tasks and automates more workflows, there is this possibility that fewer human workers will be needed. in certain areas. So this could lead to, and in my opinion already has, led to some backlash from the workforce as they raise ethical concerns about the broader impact of AI on employment. So organizations need to be very mindful of this as they're approaching their AI implementation. And to me, that looks like balancing your AI strategy with a focus on retaining and retraining and upskilling your employees rather than just replacing them with AI. Next, we can't overlook the security risks. Obviously, that's been like the main topic of this webinar. Large organizations are understandably concerned about data privacy and the potential for corporate information leaks when using AI systems. AI relies on data, like no doubt. There is no AI unless there is data. And if that data isn't secured properly, it can lead to breaches. And this is a major barrier, has been a major barrier to AI adoption at large, particularly in sectors that handle sensitive information like finance or healthcare, like we talked about. And last, the issue of pricing models. So we touched on this a little bit in the weaknesses section, but I think it's a threat as well because you're not just getting Agentforce for free. And so they did this interesting thing where if you have an enterprise subscription, they're giving you some level of access to all the clouds. And that was like a big hype moment in the keynote. But it was kind of like a don't look at the man behind the curtain move, because while they're giving you access to more clouds, there's also an additional cost for then using the AI across these clouds. And this is a consumption-based pricing model or credit-based model, which is pretty different from the traditional block pricing that Salesforce goes with. So this means that you are paying for whatever you use. And so, there could be an argument that if you use relatively little, this is good for you because it's going to be cost effective. But I think that it's going to lead to much higher premiums, especially when compared to other AI vendors out there. So especially if your usage is high, and obviously the technology is designed for usage to be high. So for some businesses, the cost of entry for the Salesforce AI could be a barrier, especially when you're thinking about you've got the cost of your enterprise licenses, and now you're adding on this additional pricing model that's going to be consumption-based. So just to be aware that, that's kind of how this is working. All right, so in the last section, I want to talk about the AutoRABIT perspective. So we've kind of covered the market perspective, but what does AutoRABIT think about this? What do we think about this internally here at AutoRABIT? So the first kind of musing that I have is supporting the move from custom application development to low code. So low code platforms, one of the great things about low code platforms and kind of the cornerstone of Salesforce has been allowing these low coders, these less traditional development skilled workers, I won't say less skilled workers because they're skilled in a different way, to accomplish things more quickly, which leads to increased productivity at a lower cost. And this concept translates really well to AI, where you're now allowing these low coders to build applications with AI components, which is going to require fewer technical skills, especially when these AI agents are assisting in things like the prompt creation. However, while this will bring some level of efficiency, it also introduces some issues. So we've already seen in low-code development increased speed and accessibility, but that also results in a large number of low-code users accidentally introducing security vulnerabilities, technical debt, poorly structured system. And even if this only happens like 1 or 2% of the time, now that we've introduced AI into the equation, we're like ramping up that velocity. So these systems, they often grow faster than the architects can manage them. leading to a lot of complexity and confusion. So this is already happening today. And we believe that as this AI adoption increases, we're going to see similar problems. The rate at which new AI configurations and Salesforce integrations are added is going to outpace the expertise available to ensure that they're properly implemented. So when users with low code skills deploy these solutions, even if just a small percentage of their changes introduce a security risk, the sheer volume is going to become problematic, and it can lead to widespread security vulnerabilities, which is why it's critical for organizations to have, again, rigorous oversight, proper governance as they're scaling their use of AI and low-code systems. My second musing was about helping to secure AI agents through testing. I believe that this is the next most important frontier for software delivery using AI. So as AI and low-code systems are becoming more widely adopted, the rate of development is going to increase. Like, we're going to see a hockey stick. But this also amplifies the risk that's involved. And that's why I want to focus on testing AI agents. There needs to be logical tests to ensure that AI-generated code is secure, it's compliant, and it's free of technical debt. As this speed starts to pick up, the other thing that we are predicting, and I'm pretty confident about this, is that the bottleneck is going to shift from development to review. So low code is already overwhelming the senior staff who are responsible for reviewing all of these outputs. And now we're adding AI to the mix, and the amount of strain is going to increase on those review processes. So to address this, we are working on reducing the cost and time of security and quality reviews. So this is going to allow these senior reviewers to focus on this higher level human oversight, which we have, discussed multiple times. It's so important. It's like the missing piece, and ensure a strong layer of protection as these AI-driven outputs begin to scale. So very important to be testing your AI agents. All right, and here's the kind of last of my musings before we get into some of the AutoRABIT product offerings. The last of my musings is the importance of human intelligence. AI is amazing, but it is not a substitute for the human mind or our collective human intelligence. So as we're continuing to develop and equip AI, one of the critical focus areas is augmenting human natural intelligence. AI agents can create complex outputs at scale, and do it faster than any human could possibly do it. But the challenges lie in simplifying and presenting that complexity in a way that humans can easily understand so that we can audit it. And our aim will be to build tools that enhance that human natural intelligence, or sometimes it's referred to as visual intelligence, by providing clear visualizations and simplifying processes. So natural intelligence, it's an AI industry term used by researchers to describe the innate intelligence of humans, animals, or even plants. I'm not sure how plant intelligence would play in here, but our intelligence, our human intelligence, is deeply, deeply rooted in visual processing, which is why visualizations are so powerful for us. So by making these AI outputs more understandable and breaking down this data complexity into something that is digestible, we will empower users to make better decisions and take full advantage of AI. And I'm going to show you some product specific stuff here in a moment, but in terms of like practical application, CodeScan's already doing a great job of visualizing these trends today. They simplify, vast amounts of code and identify flaws and summarize these findings into, simple scores and visual metrics. Similarly, if you've been keeping up with AutoRABIT security posture management, this is also a very visual tool that's going to show you critical changes and audit logs, filter out unnecessary data so that you can focus on just the most relevant security risks to you. And even tools like ARM, so my product for CI/CD, users can easily see job statuses or track whether tasks have passed or failed. So the goal here with human intelligence is to really reduce the complexity and make AI outputs more human friendly. All right. So let's quickly talk about what AutoRABIT can do to help solve these problems. So first, let's look at static code analysis. Static code analysis is going to provide you automated detection, which plays a crucial role in keeping your Salesforce code base secure and efficient. This tool will automatically detect security vulnerabilities, code quality issues, compliance risks across Apex, Visualforce, Lightning Web Components, all of these things. And by automating these checks, you not only reduce the manual effort needed for code review, but you're also ensuring critical issues are caught early. And this is going to help prevent flawed code from being deployed and protect your Salesforce environment from potential risks. And what sets this solution apart is our Salesforce specific focus. So this analysis is tailored to Salesforce's unique architecture. So we're examining elements like metadata and SOQL queries and custom objects. And this level of precision, this testing that is built specifically for Salesforce, really has those best practices built in, which is going to minimize errors and improve overall performance. So in short, automated detection is going to help deliver secure, reliable, and compliant code that's going to align with these Salesforce best practices. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, now that you have identified all of these issues that exist today, how are you going to deal with preventing them from happening in the first place? And the answer here is through quality and security gates. These gates will allow you to set and enforce quality and security standards that are specific, again, to Salesforce. This includes code coverage, security benchmarks, and performance metrics. And it ensures that your code consistently meets best practices before it even gets close to production. And wanted to call out here as well the automated enforcement of these gates. So only code that meets these predefined quality and security criteria is automatically promoted. So this is going to drastically reduce the risk of defects or vulnerabilities slipping into production, which is going to give your team more confidence in the stability and security of your releases. So these should be always embedded into your DevSecOps pipeline. So we've talked quite a bit about governance and compliance, and how that's a big risk with AI. And AutoRABIT is actually giving you a really slick way to manage these compliance checks. So as most know, regulatory compliance is a critical aspect of the Salesforce development process, especially for highly regulated industries. And integrating these compliance checks directly into your pipeline ensures that your code is meeting these industry standards that you're responsible for, like GDPR, CCPA, SOC 2, et cetera. And by embedding these checks, you can confidently build and deploy knowing your Salesforce environment is adhering to those regulatory requirements. And it's not only about minimizing the legal risks, but it also ensures that your organization is staying ahead of compliance challenges. So one way that we support these governance controls is through a framework to provide audit trails and full visibility into code changes, deployments, and compliance activities. And that's the graphic that you're seeing on the right. This level of transparency makes it very easy to track who made changes, when these changes were made, why these changes were made, and ensures that your team has a complete view of the software delivery lifecycle. And speaking of software delivery life cycles, this is where CI/CD comes in. So since this is my product area, I'm going to get on a soapbox for just a minute. You should always, 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 always embed static code analysis into your CI/CD pipeline because it ensures that code quality and security don't slow you down. So this is a shift left moment. And by embedding static code analysis into your CI/CD pipeline, you're automatically catching vulnerabilities and coding issues and performance problems. And you can do that and fix them early before they hit production, which is going to reduce the number of bugs, it's going to reduce the downtime you experience, and it's going to reduce the potential for security breaches. So you have to do this. If you're not doing it today, please start doing it. And obviously, AutoRABIT offers amazing tools for both static code analysis and CI/CD. Our static code analysis tool CodeScan is integrating first and best, obviously, with ARM, but it integrates with other CI/CD tools as well. So like, don't let it stop you. Get static code analysis in place today. If you're not doing it, you have to do it. But this integration between ARM and CodeScan, it's really powerful. And its power lies in how it seamlessly brings the static code analysis directly into ARM's CI/CD process for release management. And by embedding CodeScan into ARM, teams can automatically enforce security, code quality, compliance standards at every stage of the development lifecycle. And this not only helps catch vulnerabilities and code quality issues early, but ensures that they are addressed before it moves further down the pipeline. It also has a beautifully detailed reporting. So this integration is going to allow developers to maintain high code quality while minimizing this risk and speeding up releases. But like I said, it's not just integrating with ARM. Like you can use AutoRABIT, CodeScan, even if you aren't an ARM customer today. So if you're using Jenkins or GitLab or Capado or Salesforce TX, we can meet you where you are right now. These integrations are going to help enable continuous monitoring and real-time analysis of Salesforce code, specifically and especially Salesforce code generated by these autonomous AI agents. So very, very important to have that in place. And finally, on my very last minute, I timed it well, DevOps visibility. So now that you have found and fixed all of your vulnerabilities, you've prevented new ones from occurring with quality and security gates, and you've shifted left in your CI/CD pipeline, what's next? What's left? You need to visualize it. So we talked a bit about the importance of visualization and how it feeds human natural intelligence. And here it is. Our solution at AutoRABIT provides detailed insights throughout the Salesforce deployment process that's going to give you that full visibility into code quality, security, metadata dependencies. And this is going to help you identify and resolve code conflicts and deployment errors much, much earlier and prevent major impacting issues in production. So with that, I want to thank you all for coming. We have for you a special ebook. This is our latest ebook from the Low Code Security Alliance. The Low Code Security Alliance is the world's first and foremost Salesforce and cybersecurity authority. It is vendor neutral. but AutoRABIT does have a few key members that have contributed to this year's report, Securing Salesforce. So Andrew Davis, our Chief Product Officer and author of Flow Engineering and Mastering Salesforce DevOps, as well as Jason Lord, our CISO, who was formerly the CISO at the White House and departmental CISO at Bridgewater Associates, both contributed to this 30+ page report, along with several other industry luminaries in the Salesforce universe. So this is a great lunch break read. So make sure that you get your copy following today's webinar. With that, thank you so much for joining me. If you have questions or want to follow up with me on any of this content, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. And I hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you so much.